I'm a big believer in embracing the truth as being the greatest teacher to fixing the issues that you might be having, whether it's in your general life or more specifically the dating life. Embracing the truth is, I would argue, the best thing you can possibly do to improve your weak points, to then learn from those failures and have significantly more success in the dating scene going forward. And I have a story to illustrate this example. So this was years ago, end of college, so maybe like 7-ish years ago, something like that. And I went out with this girl. I thought she was very attractive. I liked her a lot. We went out and got like a late lunch or something, and we were there an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I walked out of the date thinking like we had a really good time. I thought we had a good conversation. I thought we had a pretty good emotional connection. I thought she was cute. I really liked her. I was really looking forward to seeing her again. And as we walk out, we're walking back to the car, and I say, the usual young guy thing, something like, hey, I really like you. I thought that was cool. I think you're cool. Looking forward to the next time. I thought we had a good connection. And then she says something like, oh, did we? Like, kind of rolls her eyes. Did we have a good connection? And I was kind of put off, like, well, I felt a good connection, so what's going on? So I asked her. I was like, well, I felt a good connection. Did you not? She's like, and she gave me the usual, well, I think you're a nice guy. You're a cool guy, I guess. I just wasn't really feeling an emotional connection. And I guess under normal circumstances, I probably would have left it at that. Just, well, this sucks. That's a bust. And move on. But I really liked her, and I thought she was cool. And it's like, well, this already sucks. I wasn't expecting this, so like, let's just take it a step further, see what I can learn from this experience, I guess. So I asked her, I was like, all right, well, look, like, I want you to be honest with me. Can you tell me, like, why exactly you don't feel an emotional connection? Because, like, I felt a pretty good one with you. I'm just curious, like, why is there this disconnect where, like, I'm like, pretty into you and you're not? Like, where's that coming from? And she gave it to me. She said, she's like, okay, so, we talked for, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and, like, she's like, you didn't shut up the whole time. She's like, you talked the whole time. You barely asked me any questions. I think you asked me like 3 questions. They were the generic resume, boring questions kind of thing. The ones that you don't get to know anyone over. And she's like, you just talked the whole time. It seemed like you're making you're trying really hard to like make yourself seem cool and to make me really understand you and who you are and what you're all about. But you never extended any of the same like courtesies to me to try to get to know me. So it sounded like you're more concerned with like your image and how you would appear to me than you are even getting to know me. Shit. That really hurt. So I go home after, and I'm like mad about it. Like super mad for like a little while, like a couple days. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's totally wrong. Like, I mean, she's right. Like, I am cool, but she doesn't get it. And eventually, a couple days later, it hits you, and you're like, oh, damn it, she was totally right. you replay the events enough times, you're like, oh God, that is what happened. That's what I look like from a third person perspective. Like, that's how she saw me. And it was super painful. And I was like, it was awful. It was awful to hear that. But you know what? It was the best thing that I could have heard. Because by hearing that extremely painful message and leaning into it and embracing it, going forward, I was much more concerted about not repeating those same mistakes again. I became a much better listener in conversation. I became a much more engaged person. I learned to really ask better questions of the other person to actually truly get to know them, not the generic, what do you do, what's your major kind of thing. And so I learned a lot from that interaction. And that served me immensely, what I learned going forward with the rest of the dating and whoever else I met after that time. But it wouldn't have happened had I not leaned into that pain the first time and decided to go that step further and embrace the suck of the truth. And so I guess I just wanted to share that anecdote for this video. Is it's something to really keep in mind. A lot of us shy away from the truth. It's extremely uncomfortable. It's extremely painful. No one wants to get hit by like the uncomfortable realities that you're probably not as cool and awesome and successful and amazing as you are, and you're not doing everything perfect. That's just the truth. But if you embrace it and you understand it, you can at least start taking the corrective steps to fix that. And the pain of learning that initially is a lot less than the pain of repeating the same dysfunctional patterns for years to come by doing the same wrong things over and over and over and never getting to where you want to go. Repeating the same mistakes over and over leads to a dull, aching, horrible pain for a very extended period of time, compared to the acute, sharp, like stabbing pain of hearing this constructive criticism, this feedback, which only lasts a short period of time. And assuming you internalize it and see it as an opportunity for growth, you move forward and you do far better in the future. So what I learned from that experience, and it doesn't just apply to dating, but it applies to everything in life, but that's about the best thing you can possibly do, is lean into the pain. Listen to the truth. Ask for it if you can, so you know what you can correct and work on going forward. And as it applies to your own dating lives, do it. Ask if you thought you had a great time and the date blew up and it sucked. You don't have anything else to lose. Ask the person, hey, I thought we had a great time. I can kind of see our flame has gone out, but I know this is going to sound weird, but in the interest of my own continual development and so that I don't make the same mistakes with other people going forward, I'm curious to hear your feedback. I'd like you to be honest with me. What was it about me that was a turnoff to you? What was it about me that like I could do better on going forward? And a lot of times you're not going to even get an answer. Some people, I don't know, just wasn't feeling it. And that's just the nice way of saying like they don't want to give you the truth, which is fine. But sometimes, or eventually, you will get someone who will say something. And that something is going to be painful to hear, but it's a nugget. Like it's a really powerful piece of information that it's going to hurt for those first few days once you learn that. But once you accept it and you internalize it and you begin taking action on it, future you will be very, very glad you took that extra step forward, asked for that information, and then integrated it into your psyche so that you got past that. So that's what I got for you on this one. I'll come up with some other stories for the next time, and I'll talk to you then.